Hey guys, this is Vid, and today we're going to talk about the process of disenchanting cards. It's a question a lot of new players ask. What cards do I disenchant? How do I get dust for the cards I want? Because you don't want to regret disenchanting stuff later on. So we're going to talk about that. So I feel like the primary thing that needs to be understood when it comes to disenchanting cards is the ratios that you're getting whenever you're disenchanting stuff. When you disenchant a common card, you get 5 dust, and it takes 40 dust to craft it. So that means you have to disenchant 8 common cards to get 1 common card. For rares, it's 20 to 100, so that's 1 to 5. And then for legendaries and epics, it's 1 to 4. This means that you don't really want to disenchant commons because you're really getting only an eighth of the value of the card, where when you disenchant an epic, you get a fourth of the value of the card. So in general, you want to disenchant your legendaries and epics first. Now, how do you decide what cards you want to disenchant? Now that you decide, okay, I'll disenchant some legendaries and epics. Maybe you don't have many, maybe you have a few. But the general questions you want to ask yourself is, am I using this? Would I like to use this? And are other people using this? That's going to be the best way of deciding. So let's take Alex Dressa, for example. Alex Dressa, I'm not using her in any of my decks right now. Would I like to use her in some of my decks? Let me think. Personally, I don't. So it might be something. This is something where it's like, well, maybe I really want to make a deck around this. Maybe I'm talking about Baron Geddon, who's played a lot in Control Warrior, and I'm like, I really want to make a Control Warrior deck. So even though I don't have it right now, maybe I want to go ahead and save it. But we're talking about Alex Dressa, and for me personally, I don't really want to make any decks that use her. And then the third question you have to ask is, are other people using this card? So the best way to figure that out is to go onto the internet. I use HearthstoneTopDecks.com. There's a lot of other good websites out there too that do the job. And you can go to their decks and you can search for the specific card you're looking for. I'm going to put in Alex Dressa since that's our example. And we can see Season 34 Grand Finals from a recent tournament. Lots of Reno Mage decks running Alex Dressa in it. So you might want to think about that before you disenchant it. You might want to be like, well, Freeze Mage is really good right now. I might want to make that deck in the future. And lots of people are using it, so maybe I don't disenchant Alex Dressa. A good example of something I would disenchant, if I had it based on my personal preferences, is I would go ahead and disenchant. Let me think. If I just open it in a pack, like right now, I'd probably just go ahead and disenchant it. Obviously, I would disenchant Don Hancho since I already have a gold one. But if I was hurting for dust, I'd probably go ahead and disenchant Don Hancho because he's not being used in any decks right now. I'm not using him in any of my own decks. And I don't really have a desire to do the hand buff playstyle. So this would be a great example of one for me personally to disenchant. But of course, your preferences and tastes are probably different than mine. And you just apply the same thought process to your rares and epics. You can go to look through your epics and you're like, hey, here's Renounced Darkness. Here's a card that no one's really using right now, but actually I like this effect and I think I'd like to use it in a deck in the future, so I'm not going to disenchant it. On the other hand, I have this card. I don't find the effect very interesting and there's no decks really playing it right now, and I'd rather put this 100 dust towards a rare for one of my other collections, so I'm going to go ahead and disenchant it. And you carry it onto the rares and so on. Although I wouldn't recommend disenchanting commons because again that ratio of 1 to 8 is just really bad. You're just really not getting any value unless you just want that extra dust. And the last thing is gold cards, and this is something that's totally up to the individual. You can easily see all your golden cards by typing in golden here in the search. And you know, when I first started the game, I disenchanted every single golden card I could because I just really was in need of the dust. But as it's gone on, I've started disenchanting less and less, and the ratios are exponentially more. So dusting a golden common card is really ineffective. You get 50 dust, and you have to craft it back for 400. So again, you're only getting an eighth of the value, which is really bad, especially when you're on this big of a scale. It's like dusting an epic card for 50 dust. Very bad value. So in general, again, I would recommend dusting starting from the top, from legendaries, epics, and then rares, even when it comes to the gold cards. But if you are really strapping for dust, I would just disenchant all the gold cards if the cosmetic is not a big deal to you. I hope this video has been informative to you and will help you build the decks you want to play with. See you guys later.